Welcome to Immaculate Television, ITVS. Our society is shaped by events here and there. Here on Immaculate TV, ITVS, we are always on hand to bring these events to your doorsteps. Join us always and everywhere around the world on ITVS for breaking news, scintillating programs,
Wherever, whenever there is a story, that is where you find us. Where the gist is developing, that is where we cast our net. Where there is a drama, you can trust us to act it out. And where there is news, reporting is our delight. Even on the go, we are ready to track it. At Immaculate Television, we bring you the latest, hottest, and spot-on news as it makes the rounds all over the world. Reporting from the nooks and crannies of both rural and urban communities. Talk of politics, business, sports, entertainment, events, and many more. You can trust us with your airtime and view time because we are binoculate. We are Immaculate Television. Today is February 14th, which is popularly known to be a Valentine's Day, where we celebrate people, celebrate love, celebrate union, celebrate togetherness and oneness and unity, all of that in today's. Of course, we all know that that's exactly what people do, and we also try to do that as much as we have. So if you check through, you probably see my tie is red, which signifies that I'm also doing that, of course, the celebration. But yes, there are bigger fish to fry on today's edition of Newspaper Review, away from the Valentine's euphoria and celebration. Yes, we'll still be in the celebration. Meanwhile, there are major stories we need to check out this morning. You're welcome to Immaculate Television. This is Newspaper Review, where we get to see how much of stories we can see from the dailies, making the rounds, breaking stories, as well as developing stories from what we've reported to you. So this morning would not be unusual, but it's quite a big deal because, of course, on the front pages of almost all of the newsprint we have in the country, hardship is exactly the topic. If you check one, flip to the other side, it's still the same story. Hardship, people lamenting, protests, and all of that, you know. Of course, I'll start from the Vanguard newspaper this morning, and right on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, it talks about hardship yet again. Federal government tackles PDP, governors, others. That's a particular story that is of interest about the federal government, and particularly now the issue of inflation in almost everything. It's not even just fuel. Fuel is not, it's even the last thing now. Food items have gone very, very high, you know. An average person is finding it hard, difficult to like get these food items into his household. And you know, of course, the minimum wage has not changed. It's still the same 30,000 naira that an average man is supposed to take home to feed his family of 2, 3, 4, whichever it is. But yes, we'll keep our fingers out to see how much of this would eventually get us to the point where we start making changes, because we need to make changes. We need conversations to be had. We need questions to be answered by people in power, by political warlords and all of that. People who have held positions of authority in this country. We need to ask you questions. We need to call some to book in this country. But yes, let's get into some of the stories, particularly on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The federal government disagreed with the governors elected on the platform of the main opposition, People's Democratic Party, PDP, and Board of Trustees, BOT, yesterday, who blamed the federal government over economic hardship in the country, which they said is causing a lot of hunger and anger in the land. Of course, there was protest in Kano, there was protest in Niger, Osun State as well, people clamoring that, yes, we need food. This is a far cry from what we are expecting as Nigerians, and we are not getting exactly what we're expecting. So we need to come out en masse to protest. Some say it's a good thing, others say, what would the government do? Maybe when they see you protest, they will do a bit of jamboree, just try to put things together to bamboozle you, and afterwards, there's really nothing again to write home about from that point. So yes, let's see how it unfolds. We'll keep our fingers crossed, our neck to the game to see how much of that would come. The PDP governor's views were echoed by their forum chairman and governor of Bauchi State, Senator Bala Mohammed, who at the meeting of the party's board of trustees yesterday said Nigeria is bleeding and there's a lot of hunger and anger, and there appears to be no good governance in the country. He assured the PDP that the PDP would give a vibrant opposition to the ruling All Progressives Congress. But the question now, and the right conversation is, who is better? Who is who? Because if you talk about the PDP and talk about APC, I'm not sure there's any major difference. You know, I was saying it a couple of days back that it's still the same people, you know, moving from one place that favors them to the other one, you know, because of their selfish gains. And it seems like we are not getting it right because we do not have structures and political structures and philosophies that can make people not fly from one party, decamp from one party to the other easily. Because, of course, every party should have their own personal philosophy and rules of engagement and the things they wish or they intend to do for the country. And that is why we should know them as, okay, yes, this is a special party from this, but it seems like anything goes for our parties in Nigeria. So you can easily decamp without having to change your mindset, your philosophy, your policy prescription, even in governance. So it's all a shambolic case, a basket case for the country, if you ask me. But yes, we'll also see if this current administration would do better. That's exactly what we've been clamoring for. But again, it's not coming through as of now. So away from that story now, 6.2 million naira theft. You know, okay, it's dollar now, 6.2 million US dollars theft. And federal government declared CBN staff others wanted for forging Buhari's signature. You know, it's been all in the news yesterday as well about the 6.2 million US dollars thefts. And, you know, some were saying Emefiele was actually the culprit. He was the one who did all of that. And as well, allegations have gone to Boss Mustafa also saying that it was Boss Mustafa. And then yeah, some were also saying the president actually knew about it. So, I mean, many people are saying that, yes, the president even of the past administration should be called to book and they should invite them for questioning. But I'm afraid there's an immunity that would not allow that for a president who have served in the country, especially recent past administration, to be called to book or to check them or to take them to the court or something. But whichever way it is, we hope the best turns out for the people of this country. Away from that now to the Punch newspaper this morning, and right on the front page, many stories are breaking, others developing, but cost of living, federal government, NLC meeting deadlocked, bankers, bakers threatened shutdown, also a story, of course, even a loaf of bread now, you know how much it goes even at every other place. So if they are now threatening shutdown, so the next time they'll probably come on board, they'll probably sell maybe a loaf of bread for 2,000 naira or only God knows what. Anyway, we hope that is not the case. Away from that now, EFCC operatives allegedly arrest FUTA students in midnight raid. Also, a story you want to check on the Punch newspaper this morning. Away from that now as well, Ondo PDP chairman is dead. And that's a breaking news this morning. It came in 45 minutes ago on the Punch newspaper. We express our condolence to the family of the bereaved. And also, Zodima heads panel to conduct Edo APC governor primary. Also on the Punch newspaper this morning, Nigeria's crude oil production dropped in January, and that's coming from OPEC. Naira gains at official market weakens to 1,500 naira to a US dollar. At parallel markets, not a good one, especially for people who have to transact using the dollar. Of course, we've been saying this exactly. The forex policy, the foreign exchange policy in the country is not working. We need to do better. We need to do better. There's no way out of this except we do better. And now, away from that now, Soyinka to deliver Punch 50th anniversary lecture on February 29. We look forward to that occasion as well. Wigwe crash reports ready. March Kingsman declare 8-day mourning. Of course, that's talking about the Wigwe situation that happened, a particular chopper that crashed in the United States. We know Wigwe to be one of the major top officials of Access Holdings, and of course, he's a big man, and he's done so much for his country and for his particular organization that he's working for. And we also extend our condolence to the family of the man. Now, away from that now, customers tired of estimated billing. Federal government warns this course. That's on the business side. And in sport, Tinubu gives Eagles lands, houses, national honors after AFCON. Yes, there's been a report about this, and the flip side, which obviously is the humorous side of this, is to tell about the fact that I remember, I think 1994 winners of a particular, I'm not even sure if it was AFCON, what they were promised that time was just given to them, I think maybe yesterday or the day before. So this question again comes up and say, oh, I hope this is not the same story for this current Super Eagles team, because you promised them one thing now, and 25 years later is when they can actually access it. And it seems to be a sorry case. When we keep asking this question, why people like Bukayo Saka, who plays for Arsenal, who plays for England as well, Solanke, Agbonlahor, who had earlier played for England as well, why they would not want to choose Nigeria over England? It's still the same story, because we heard about past big guys in Nigeria who have done well for this country, and we've seen how their trajectory is. We've seen where they are. I remember one of them was being spotted, selling what they call second-hand clothes or something, Okrika, whatever. So it was, of course, one of the big guys that helped the country when it comes to the world of sport. He did a lot for this country, and eventually what he got rewarded was to be selling Okrika. It's a sorry case, a basket case, if you ask me. So if Saka would not play for Nigeria, I hope you understand, and I hope you're not angry that he's not playing for Nigeria. Maybe we'll get better and do better, maybe later. But let's understand that some of these guys need to play for where they want to play for. It's their choice, it's their decision. And of course, if you talk about sustainability and talk about their future, if you play for England, there's a surety that you're not going to, I don't want to go into that, but yes, there's almost every chance that you will not be poverty-stricken ever in your life. Even if you mismanage funds, even if you spend anyhow, there's still something that's going to be coming to your bank account. You smile to the bank even without doing anything. Sometimes they call you as an analyst or a pundit in a TV station, and then you get paid for that. In Nigeria, how many TV stations do we have? We talk about this every day. We have 51 radio stations and counting currently in Ibadan, and we cannot boast of 5 television stations. It's funny, but that's the situation in the country. Now, let's talk a bit about the particular Eagle situation. President Bola Tinubu yesterday honored each player and official of the Nigerian Super Eagles with a member of the Order of the Niger National Award, that's MON, for securing the silver medal. They just concluded 2023 African Cup of Nations, AFCON, that went down in Cote d'Ivoire. And the Eagles, 3-time African champions, lost the African final 2-1 to host the Ivory Coast in Abidjan on Sunday. And the president also announced the donation of a flat and a plot of land to each of them, even as the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, immediately distributed forms for land allocation to each player at a yet-to-be-disclosed location. You see that story? Because if you follow the story, it might be the end of the story. It might just be what they call radio money or radio gift, where everything is on the air, and after the air, there's nothing again. There's no actualization of those promises. But let's hope this administration will do better. Tinubu acknowledged the team's role in fostering unity within the country through their remarkable performance, and despite finishing second, urged them to hold their heads high. He emphasized the pride Nigerians felt in the Super Eagles' remarkable journey throughout the competition, saying it's a great honor for him to receive them. I was talking about the Super Eagles, of course. As a team, you taught us lessons of resilience, togetherness, diversity, and excitement in competitive games. You started the tournament as if Nigeria would not assert itself, but you progressed to the finals. Anyway, I have my own opinions, but I will just let that slide and not project that as the opinion of this particular organization, Immaculate Television. So my personal opinion is still my opinion, so I'll just keep it to myself. But yes, it's a good thing that the president is, commending them. But it's also good that he's giving them gifts and all of that. But we're just saying, let it be real, let it be true. Let it not just be something they would hear and would never hold. Let them hear and hold these promises given onto them. Away from that now to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. And right on the front page, what is very catchy this morning that piqued my interest earlier this morning when I woke up was about the nurses situation. Now, nurses are protesting, and we know why. Let's just go into some of these details. 42,000 nurses left Nigeria in 3 years, and that's coming from the federal government. Is it a question of should they leave, or is it a question of why are they leaving? Whichever the conversation is going to be like, but one thing is sure, for as long as we continue like this, people will keep living this country. People will keep jackpotting, like we say. It's just a no-brainer. It's going to happen. It's only a matter of time before everybody leaves this country, and if we and it's just the old generation, because all our young minds are going. When we say an average man, maybe a university graduate, gets scholarship abroad, do you know what that means for the abroad community? One, they make money. Two, they're taking human capital, human resources that are supposed to build this nation away from this nation. So I'm afraid who's going to become the leader if every youth is jackpotting? Who is going to take the mantle of leadership in this country? If our smart guys, we talked about doctors, I think a couple of months back, right? We talked about doctors living in their numbers, and it was really a shameful thing. We talked about lecturers leaving universities, and it's also a shameful thing, because all of these things, they would definitely affect the system. Now, the medical units of the country, or medical department, hospitals, and all of those things will be affected because of this shortage of staff. We know that for sure. Now, 42,000 nurses left Nigeria in 3 years. That's whooping. You want to talk about that? I think it's a conversation we should have. But yes, a brief into that story would mean that the Registrar of the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, NMCN, Farouk Abubakar, yesterday said 42,000 nurses have left the country in the last 3 years. Farouk's comment came on the heels of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, NANMM, protest against the new certification verification guideline issued by the council. NMCN had issued a circular saying applicants seeking verification of certificates to foreign nursing boards and councils must have 2 years of qualification experience and also pay a non-refundable application fee. No, so exactly, this is what the federal government is doing in perspective. What they're doing now is to say that you have to, for those that are seeking verification of certificates to foreign nursing boards and councils, must have at least 2 years of qualification experience, which suggests that they must have worked in this country for more than 2 years, exactly, before they get that permit to leave the country to serve or to practice in another country. So that's exactly what that code is saying. And also they must pay a particular non-refundable application fee. Let's see if the fee is actually talked about. I'm so sure it's going to be a lot of money. I know, because they are trying to discourage as many nurses from traveling, but I'm afraid people will still pay the money. You know how much people pay to travel? They will get the money and they will still go, and they will still forge 2 years work experience in Nigeria and all of that, because the country is not doing well. Obviously, you can't tell me any other time. I've been in this country for a while too, and I see how things are being run, and I'm not sure that's the best way. Speaking about the decision of the council, he said the development is in line with international best practices, adding that so many nurses in the country have left in the past few years. He also maintained that if we allow every Nigerian to leave as they graduate, who is going to handle our healthcare services? Who is going to provide these services? We are Nigerians, and it's our responsibility to perform these services. According to him, the council has gotten several complaints about the relocation of nurses from the country, but he said such relocations should be done rightly. And and just last year, a number of nurses were found with fake documents in America, and when they did a background check, they said about 8 of them were not in Nigeria's database. They hadn't collected the verification letter of good standing, and they faked the document. That's exactly the report they are giving. But sometimes, I don't know, the question is not to play the blame game. We used to blame. But yes, the federal government should be blamed, if you ask me. Why? Because John C. Maxwell once said that everything rises and falls on leadership. So if the country is doing well, kudos to the leadership. If the country is doing otherwise, to the leadership as well. So exactly, everything comes back to the ruling, administration, whichever it is and all that. But yes, let's move very quickly away from that now to the Blueprint newspaper this morning. Blueprint reports that federal government mulls commodity birds to tackle price volatility and others. Under the caption, the reader says that we will deploy security forces to protect farmers, activate more farmlands, and that's coming from Shetima, the vice president of this federation. While we see the warehouses hoarding food items, and that's from Kano State government. Of course, this has been topical too. If you ask me, if you check on the internet, you see a lot of stories going around, especially about this particular food hoarding in Kano State. It's not so good. People are complaining of hiking prices of food items, and there's a body of people trying to hoard the food that is supposed to be distributed and circulated across the state. And of course, you can't say this is nice. We had the same issue during COVID-19 pandemic where food was hoarded. You know, some people trying to use it for their own personal gains and all that. And it's always a sorry case. So when you say nurses are traveling, check these ones first. All of these things that you people are doing that is not correct, check it well and let people have the confidence in the government. Let people be sure, let them be rest assured that yes, our government is trying. Our government will do better. You know, it's just not, you know, sounding so well. Away from the shores of Nigeria now, there's a story about the Venezuela claim. Your conduct belittles your office. Federal government fires PDP governors. Also on the Blueprint newspaper this morning. I'll return to my South African club despite threats, and that's coming from Mwabali. Mwabali is the Nigerian Super Eagles goalkeeper who actually did well during this current AFCON that just got concluded on Sunday. Away from that now too, away from the Blueprint totally, let's get on to see what Daily Independent newspaper is reporting this morning. The federal government asks for more time as Labour insists on strike ultimatum. Promises to fast-track implementation of 16-point agreement. You would remember that at the last meeting they had, the NLC and the TUC with the federal government, the understanding that they came to, the MOU they came about was to make sure the 16-point agreement was actualized. And of course, NLC, TUC have been claiming that they are yet to even see any of this materialized, and they're expecting that in no time. Maybe the federal government wants to do something now because they are promising to fast track the implementation of those agreements. We hope they do so. Meanwhile, minimum wage should be reviewed annually, and that's also coming from NLC president as well. Stakeholders point ways to promote fair resolution of dispute as well. A story you should check on the Daily Independent newspaper. If you are seeing that on your screen now, Daily Independent newsprint this morning is showing our Super Eagles players well dressed in green apparel, a very nice brocade with the president of this country as well as the vice president taking a picture together. It's a nice one, a good one for them over there. Government most commodity board to tackle price volatility and others, to deploy security forces to protect farmers and farmlands. Away from that now, federal government begs NLC TUC to withdraw strike notice. On the Daily Sun newspaper this morning, pledges to resume payment of wage award. We stand by our ultimatum. That's coming from Joe Ajaero. And bread makers begin strike February 27. Maybe we should start buying every bread we can at the moment, of course. Daily Trust is reporting something else this morning. Bandits kill 2 policemen, abduct 40 in Zamfara State. Family of 21 among captives. Also, something of interest you might like to check this morning on Daily Trust newspaper. Rising production costs. Bakers begin nationwide strike February 27. This story is scary. It's scary for bread lovers, but anyway. Buhari didn't approve $6.2 million for election observers. His signature was forged. That's coming from the former SGF. That's the secretary to the government of the federation. I think gas explosion rocks Lagos community, another explosion in Lagos. Many stories making the rounds on Leadership newspaper. Don't remove electricity subsidy. Labour tells Tinubu. But you want to get more on that story, check the Leadership newspaper this morning on page 4. That is where you will get the full gist. Says Nigerians yet to recover from fuel subsidy removal, declares IMF, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, untie people, forces. It will dehumanize Nigerians, experts warn. Away from that now to Nigerian Tribune, we've said some of these major headlines. Yes, Access Holdings appoints Bolaji Agbede as acting group CEO on page 6 of Nigerian Tribune is where to get more on that story. Reps get bill for creation of Okeogun Ijebu, Ife-Ijesha State in Southwest. That's on page 29 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Tinubu honors Super Eagles players with MON, lands and other items. While Nigeria's forex reserve will drop to 24 billion naira in 2024, and federal government knocks PDP governors, says most of them owe workers, pensioners on page 11 of Nigerian Tribune this morning. It seems to be like a blame game in the country. Federal government blaming the past administration, of which is their own party as well, blaming Buhari, who was also an APC presidential person. And, the current APC is blaming the past APC, the PDP is blaming the APC currently. All of these stories back and forth. We seem not to get out of this cycle. It's just a cycle of mess they have put Nigerians. And they are using us to play. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder what they have in mind for us, just to play, games on us, try to take us for a ride. And it's not a smooth ride, it's a very stupid ride. Away from that now, the Guardian newspaper, outrage over 100 billion naira constituency project, push for 20% of budget. Also on the Guardian newspaper this morning, federal government considers commodity board to crash food prices as court ultimatum ends. Also a story you'd like to check on page 8 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Lagos Assembly decries naira depreciation, suggests ways to strengthen currency. All of this and many more you can get on our newsprint this morning. And I don't know if you've noticed, but we've seen a lot of heat wave come into Ibadan recently, and you have to bear with that because, of course, you need to get yourself prepared every morning.
Welcome to Immaculate Television, ITVS. Our society is shaped by events here and there. Here on Immaculate TV, ITVS, we are always on hand to bring these events to your doorsteps. Join us always and everywhere around the world on ITVS for breaking news, scintillating programs. We are limitless, we are boundless. For your comfort, studio session, Zoom meetings, live streaming of events, equipment rented, and others. ITVS is your preferred home. Welcome on board.